Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of me rambling about WoW. And this time, we're gonna be rambling about tanks in PvP, so if you are not interested in that, well, yeah, you can still watch it. But still, we all know that tanks in PvP can be a nuisance, but let's be honest, they aren't really that great. They have some utility. They have some group buffs, which sadly have really short range. It's most of the time it's around 15 yards, so meh. So the utility of each tank varies. It can be something as simple as increased health and the ability to soak some of the damage that others take. Here I'm pointing at a Guardian Druid, which apparently is nice thing to have, but only if you stay with everybody else, so they can, you know, have reduced damage and you passively heal them and all of that jazz. Yes, that's my experience as a Guardian Druid in BGs lately. But that's still not something that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about Taunt. And yes, I know there is a talent that changes Taunts into a debuff, which increases damage taken by 3% per person attacking the set target. Well, unfortunately it caps at 5 stacks, which brings the increased damage taken to 15%. Where the hell are those panthers? And yeah, this, by the way, should get a little bit buff because nobody takes it because it's, well, weak. But still, we are gonna talk about the normal taunt, which is for the most part used only to taunt off minions, pets, whatever. Otherwise, it's not really useful in any kind of battlegrounds. Well, besides the ones with a boss, I mean. And here I'm pointing at Isle of Conquest or Alterac Valley. But still, taunt should be useful against players, and I'm not talking about a situation where you taunt and suddenly your character magically goes towards the taunting player. No, that's a boring design. At least I think so. And it probably would be a little bit OP as well. What I am suggesting is to allow taunt to be used on players, right? And once you use it, the taunted player is forced to look towards the taunting person, right? And targeting the said person. That's all. That's all. So for example, if I would be attacking, oh, hello. I heard that. No, anyways, let's get back to you. Let's say let's say this is a player, right? I am targeting him. I'm fighting him, I'm peeling off, whatever. Suddenly a player taunts me. First thing first, instead of the target, I have the nameplate of the person who taunted me, and I am turned around towards that target. This would make tanks so much more useful in battlegrounds that are not, well, flag carries. So yeah, that's one thing. But then you will say, but if you have 3 or 4 tanks, it's gonna be impossible. They will make me a fucking spin to win person. No. Here is where I suggest giving this a second thing. When you taunt something, right, well, somebody in this case, that person would get a debuff, buff, whatever you want to see it as, that will make the target immune to taunts for the duration of a cooldown of the taunt that was used. So for example, if I, on this warrior, would taunt a person, that person would have 8 seconds immunity to taunts. Right? So you couldn't have like 3 or 4 tanks constantly taunting the said person and disallowing him to cast anything. Also, one disclaimer. This would be available only to tanking specs. Other characters that would have access to taunts, so pretty much all the classes with a possible taunting spec, tanking spec with, you know, Red Paladin, Feral Druid, or whatever else, those would not work. Those would work like they do now. They could be used to peel off mobs, minions, and all of that jazz. But they would not affect players. But yeah, that's my thought about the whole PvP tank situation. I'm not calling for buffing their survivability or damage. The damage is, in some cases, a little bit over what it should be, I guess. And survivability, they are supposed to be sponges, they are supposed to be tough. Right? But yeah, that's it for today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about the whole situation? What would you add, change, remove? Leave your comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!